So we've got Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar,
Which is this Sunday.
which is this Sunday so there will be the Saturday the 16th for Americans, us Sunday the 17th.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant stand-up fight. They've both
Yeah.
got incredible boxing.
I was actually watching Anthony Pettis versus Max Holloway in the car.
They
before I
released
came.
the full fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And one thing that Joe Rogan noticed is that Max likes to stand front. Normally, when people they stand side on or from the side. He likes to stand side on. He loves to trade hands. That was a really good fight between him and Pettis.
Very, very good
And
fight.
then I watched Calvin Kattar just smash through Jeremy Stevens. Like, when he knocked him out, literally just blood was literally just gushing from his forehead. And I honestly believe that we are going to start off the year with a bang. It has to be a stand-up fight.
I think it has to be a 5-round war as
Yeah.
well. I think that's a 5-round war.
You've got a guy who's got one of the greatest gas tanks ever, has a record for most significant strikes thrown during a fight. Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, versus a man who's just has mad precision and mad power, especially for a featherweight.
It's funny that you bring up the Brian Ortega fight because have you seen it when he actually goes over to Brian Ortega and picks up his hands
Yeah.
and he actually shows him how to block punches during the fight?
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Is that
He-
good? Yeah.
I mean, he's that good. You talked about his gas tank. Amazing cardio.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely, he's Hawaiian, probably likes to eat. He said that
He loves to eat.
I love to eat. So making it his way back down to 145 is probably a struggle. He's probably got excellent cardio because he's working so hard.
Yeah.
Now his striking, and he's very creative. And he's so young for the amount of people he's fought, and
He's only 29.
he's only 29. He's only just turned 29. I think 29 at just the end of 2020. So he's turning 30 at the end of this year,
Yeah.
which is insane because, I mean, it's weird to think that when Calvin Kattar's come into the sport a little bit later than Max Holloway, and now he's about to fight him, when there's not a huge difference in their age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Kattar's got brilliant boxing, excellent. He's probably got one of the best boxing in the entire UFC. To be honest, I think he's a brilliant boxer. It's whether or not. I think neither one has an issue with chin or vulnerability.
Yeah,
I think they're both very durable. Max is very durable. That's usually a Hawaiian thing anyway. And Calvin Kattar's significantly shown he's very durable too. I cannot see a KO and I cannot see a submission happening. I really think it's going to be a 5-round war and it'll be a decision swaying to Max. I know Max will do volume and Calvin will have more power and maybe more significant strikes, but Max will have more overall strikes just because the amount of volume he hits with every round, it's insane.
Yeah. He's a very, very very skilled fighter as well. I mean, it really comes down to it. Really, it's going to be a test of grit.
I think so.
Yeah, that's really what I believe. But the winner then is most likely to go on to fight Volkanovski. What's your take on that? Because what is it? Ortega won his last fight, and then I think he called out Volkanovski.
That's going to be settled most likely maybe April or May or something.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a strange position. Volkanovski, if who's he going to fight? Is giving Max the rematch for the trilogy a little bit greedy? Or do we want to see Ortega versus Holloway 2, and then the winner of that maybe gets to go on to fight Volkanovski?
It gets
what
difficult.
routes are they going to take? That's what I'm curious about.
It gets difficult. I really do think that UFC really cares. It really cares how you win your fights.
Yeah.
If Holloway was to starch Calvin Kattar in the first round or the second round, brutal KO, or vice versa, right? Calvin did it to Max. I think he would probably jump that. But if it's a decision, most likely Max is going to have to fight another person. And if, let's say, Brian was to lose against Volkanovski, I would see a rematch with Brian and Holloway. That would be a huge fight because it really was a big like big inflection point with Brian Ortega's career and his skill level. It really did. When he lost to Holloway, it was one-sided and he was dominated. He left for 2 years, shaved his head, came back a new man, and he'd leveled up several times. It was a huge inflection point for growth for him. I'd love to see that fight if Holloway was to pass Kattar.
Yeah.
I see that happening more so than him jumping the queue, because I don't think Holloway will KO Kattar, because they're both so durable. I think they're just going to trade for 5 rounds, and it's going to be a really, really good fight. And right underneath it is the co-main, and then after that is David Zawada versus Ramazan Ameev. So, yeah, that's a really, really good fight to watch as well in the welterweight division. So,
Yeah.
really, really good fight.